Is the real estate market about to crash? That's a very interesting question. And no, I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't tell you for sure what is about to happen, but the market is definitely overheated right now. And I can talk for my market here in Ottawa, and I can also talk about the information I've been getting from my colleagues throughout North America. A lot of markets right now are suffering from what we call a lack of inventory. And I want to dive a bit deeper there on what a lack of inventory causes to a market. And more specifically, I want to look at the metric that is used by a lot of realtors to identify if we're in a seller's market or a buyer's market. And what I'll do today is I'll break it down on how I look at it exactly. And maybe with that information, you can make up your own mind. You can see what the numbers are telling me, and maybe you could predict, if it's the right time for you to make a move to sell your house or to buy. And if you're an agent watching this, hopefully you'll be able to advise your clients a bit better. Now, before we get going into this, I just want to do a quick disclosure here. Real estate is very, very location sensitive. So even if I'm looking at stats for Ontario, it could be totally different if you're in Hamilton or in Ottawa or in Toronto. And of course, if you're in another province or state, totally different there also. So if you're looking to get the stats for your area and you're a consumer, make sure you talk with your local realtors, okay? So what I'll do for you guys today is I'm gonna break down how I figure out if we're in a buyer's market or a seller's market. And I'll use this tablet here to draw an illustration for you. So what we're trying to figure out here is how many months of inventory we've got, right? And we'll get to how we calculate how many months of inventory we have in just a second, but there's a scale here that if we have 5 months of inventory or less, we are in what is considered a seller's market, okay? If we have 7 months or more, we are in what is called a buyer's market. If we have between 5 and 7, we're in a balanced market. So how do we figure out how many months of inventory we have? So to do that, we're going to do a simple calculation, and we're going to deal with a fictive market here. I'm just going to pull numbers from my imagination. And let's say your total market inventory is 7,000 listings that are active. Okay, and over the last 30 days, so 1 month of transactions, so 30 days sold, let's say there was 1,000 properties sold. So what do we do here? Well, it's pretty simple. We just take the inventory and we divide it by the number of properties that were sold in the last 30 days. So here it gives us 7 months of inventory, which puts us right here at the beginning of a buyer's market. Now, why is this so important in justifying if prices are going up or down, or if they're going to be stable? Well, the reason is competition. I'm going to share with you some stats, some real stats about the Ottawa market that I just pulled up, and maybe you can understand a bit better what's going on right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a small case study here for the city of Ottawa. And I just pulled these stats from the real estate board. And right now, active listings, we've got 1,413 active listings. And in the last 30 days, 30 days sold, we've got 1,912 sold places. So if we take those numbers and we do like we we talked about before, and we divide these, that gives us 0.73 months of inventory. Okay, so let that sink in for a bit. That means that if we stop listing houses today and we continue selling them at the rate that we've been selling them for the past 30 days, in 0.73 of a month, we would be completely out of properties to sell. So to say that the market is a hyper seller's market is an understatement. You know, we're dealing with low levels of inventory like I've never seen. And you know what that's causing is it's causing buyers to look at the same property at the same time as other buyers. And it's not uncommon nowadays to see properties receive 10, 15 offers. And what do you think's happening when you got 10, 15 people fighting for the same product? Well, let's say that product's on the market for $400,000. It's appealing to family A, appealing to family B, all the way to family, G and F, all the way down the line. And they're all fighting for the same product. They're going to try to sweeten their deal as much as possible for that the seller will accept their offer. And that's why we're seeing bidding wars or up negotiations from the listing price to the final sale price. We've seen some properties go for $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 over asking. It's not uncommon in this market. I think that the fact that the market is so hot right now, it's going to start the process of cooling itself off. And let me explain what I mean here. Every single time we see a neighbor or we sell a property, sell for a lot more than they were asking, and they're sort of setting a new bar for what the property is worth. Every single time that happens, it motivates a neighbor or somebody has a similar property to consider also listing their house. So at some point, the market will get so hot that these prices will become too enticing for people to stay in their property. So who will move out? Well, I think a lot of people that, one, don't need to buy another property in the hot market that they're selling at. Let's say we've got somebody here, lives in Ottawa, and they're originally from Detroit or from Alberta, right? And in those markets right now, they're still performing well, but not as hot as here. So they might decide to accelerate their plans of selling their property. They might have done it in 4 or 5 years, but now they're saying, hey, let's sell now, move back to where we're from, and enjoy this extra money that we weren't expecting. So I could see a lot of people doing that, and maybe people that are close to retirement, and since they're putting a few extra $100,000 of dollars in their pocket, they might accelerate their retirement plan. And I think we're going to see a lot more people go on the market that weren't planning on it. And again, this is all speculation on my part. So I really think that once we start to see the inventory go back up, we're going to see a cooling off. And I really think that's the way the market is going to cool itself off. It's going to auto-correct itself because the prices are much more enticing to people these days. And I'm not sure how it is in your market, but this metric of months of inventory it's a good indication as to what will be happening over the next few months. If you're thinking about making a move and these prices are interesting to you, it might be a good time to make the move. We don't know what the future is holding. I mean, if we had a crystal ball and we could predict the future with 100% certainty, we'd be able to make a lot of money. Wouldn't you agree? But this metric here of months of inventory is one that I'm keeping a close eye on because I'm also an investor. And it's giving me an idea of what the market will do over the next few months. If we're looking at the stats here for mid-March 2021, I can see the Ottawa market continuing to be a strong seller's market for the next few months because, before we get into a traditionally balanced market, we would need to see the inventory increase 5-fold without the number of transactions increasing at all. And I mean, I know a lot of people are losing in multiple offers, so there's a lot more demand to be fed with new listings. So it's going to take a bit of time for the months of inventory to climb, but I don't think we're in any danger of seeing price corrections for the moment. But that's just my opinion, and I would encourage you to speak with your realtor in your area before making a decision. All right. And for all the realtors that are looking out there, this is a great metric to bring to a listing appointment. This is a great way to give more value to your clients. Show them exactly what is going on in the market these days. Tell them, you're sitting very, very pretty here with less than 1 month of inventory. We could do a tactic with your listing where we withhold offers and we see, which buyer is willing to offer more. But if you get into the habit of looking at this metric, you're going to see the market change. And when you're getting closer to 4 or 5 months of inventory, then maybe you could roll out your listings differently. So I want you guys to let me know what's going on in your market. Let's keep the conversation going. Tell me in the comments section down below where you're from, how the market is performing in your area. If you're a realtor, let me know how many listings are active, how many have sold in the past 30 days. If you're a buyer or seller, share with me some stories about this very hot market that we're in. What have you been seeing? Are you maybe one of the lucky sellers that got, a very generous offer on their property? I love hearing from you guys, and I think it's great if we can interact. Also, if you're enjoying these, make sure to leave a like on this video. It really helps other people to discover this channel and to find value like you're hopefully finding in these videos. So thanks again for stopping by. I'll catch you guys next week when I do another one of these. Ciao.